What if everything you thought you knew about tennis's next big star was about to change forever? Rafael Nadal just dropped a bombshell that has sent shockwaves through the entire tennis world, and nobody saw this coming. In a moment that has left fans speechless and analysts scrambling for answers, the 22-time Grand Slam champion made a revelation about young sensation Alex Eala that goes far beyond ordinary praise. Tennis insiders are calling this the most unexpected statement of the decade, as social media explodes with theories, reactions, and debates. Was this simply admiration from one champion to a rising star, or did Nadal just reveal something that could reshape the future of women's tennis? Brace yourselves, because this story is far bigger than anyone anticipated. The tennis world stood still when Rafael Nadal opened his mouth and changed everything. It happened during what seemed like a routine press interaction, the kind that usually produces predictable quotes about hard work, respect, and the future of the sport. But this time, something was different. Nadal's eyes carried a weight that veteran journalists immediately recognized as significant. His words, carefully chosen yet undeniably powerful, centered on a name that has been quietly rising through the ranks: Alex Eala. The 20-year-old Filipino sensation has been turning heads with her fearless playing style and remarkable composure under pressure. But when Nadal, living legend, a 22-time Grand Slam champion and one of the most respected figures in sports history, singled her out with such intensity, the entire tennis ecosystem collectively gasped. Within minutes, hashtags started trending. Within hours, sports networks around the world interrupted their regular programming to dissect every syllable of what he had just said. What made this revelation so stunning wasn't just the praise, it was the depth and implication behind it. Nadal didn't simply call Eala talented or promising. His words suggested something far more profound, almost as if he had peered into the future and seen something the rest of us were blind to. Sources close to the Spanish legend have since hinted that Nadal rarely speaks with such conviction about young players, making this moment even more extraordinary. The tennis world has witnessed countless rising stars fade into obscurity under the weight of expectation, but Nadal's endorsement carries a weight that could either launch Eala into superstardom or burden her with impossible pressure. Social media exploded with theories. Some fans speculated that Nadal sees a reflection of his own younger self in Eala's fighting spirit. Others suggested he might be preparing to take her under his wing in a mentorship role that could revolutionize her career. A few conspiracy-minded observers even wondered if Nadal knew something about Eala's training regimen or upcoming tournaments that the public didn't. Whatever the truth, one thing became immediately clear. This was no ordinary compliment. This was a seismic moment that would be analyzed, debated, and remembered for years to come. The tennis world had just been given a puzzle, and everyone was desperate to solve it. What exactly did Rafael Nadal say that caused such an uproar? The specific words, now replayed thousands of times across every platform imaginable, have been dissected by linguists, sports psychologists, and fans with equal intensity. Nadal, known for his humility and measured public statements, seemed to let his guard down in a way we rarely see. His voice carried an unusual urgency, almost as if he was trying to warn or prepare the world for something monumental. When speaking about Alex Eala, he used phrases that have never been associated with any other young player in his career. "I have watched many young players rise and fall," Nadal began, his tone shifting from casual to profound. "But there's something different about this one. Something I cannot fully explain, but I feel it in my gut." Those words alone would have been enough to make headlines, but he didn't stop there. He went on to describe Eala's game as fearless and almost spiritual in its execution, praise that seemed to transcend mere technical analysis. Tennis commentators have since noted that Nadal rarely uses such emotionally charged language, making this revelation even more shocking. What does this mean for Alex Eala's future? The weight of Nadal's words could prove to be either a launching pad or an anchor. History has shown that when the greats of the sport, from Laver to Borg, from Federer to Nadal himself, speak with such certainty about a young player, it often precedes greatness. but it can also create expectations that crush lesser spirits. Eala, who has already demonstrated remarkable mental toughness in her young career, now faces perhaps her greatest challenge, living up to the prophecy that one of the greatest players of all time seems to have made about her. Analysts have scrambled to review Eala's match footage, searching for what Nadal might have seen. They point to her extraordinary court coverage, reminiscent of the Spanish champion's own legendary movement. They highlight her unshakable composure during breakpoints and tiebreakers, a trait that Nadal himself has built his entire career upon. Some have even suggested that Nadal sees in Eala a kindred spirit, someone who fights for every point with the same relentless determination that defined his own rise from a young prodigy in Mallorca to the undisputed king of clay. As the analysis continues, one question remains: did Nadal just reveal the next great champion, or did he place an impossible burden on a young woman still finding her way? Alex Eala has never been one to seek the spotlight, but the spotlight has found her regardless. Born into a family that valued education and discipline, the young tennis star has always carried herself with a maturity that belies her age. Her journey from a promising junior player to a professional making waves on the global stage has been marked by quiet determination rather than flashy self-promotion. But Nadal's revelation has changed everything. Now the entire world is watching, and the pressure has increased tenfold overnight. Eala's playing style is a beautiful paradox, graceful yet aggressive, controlled yet unpredictable. She possesses a powerful forehand that can dictate play from anywhere on the court and a two-handed backhand that has drawn comparisons to some of the game's greatest. Her serve, while still developing, has shown moments of brilliance that suggest she could one day join the ranks of the sport's elite servers. But what truly sets her apart is her mental fortitude, a quality that Nadal specifically highlighted in his shocking revelation. In matches where other young players would crumble, Eala seems to thrive, almost as if she enjoys the pressure rather than succumbing to it. The Filipino community has rallied behind their homegrown star with passionate enthusiasm. Social media feeds from the Philippines are flooded with expressions of pride and hope, with many daring to dream that Eala could become the first Grand Slam champion from their country. The economic and cultural impact of such an achievement would be immeasurable, potentially inspiring a new generation of Filipino athletes to pursue tennis with renewed vigor. Already, tennis academies in Manila report a surge in enrollment, a phenomenon that sports analysts have dubbed the Eala effect. Children who once dreamed of basketball glory are now picking up rackets, hoping to emulate the young woman who has captured the world's attention. But with great attention comes great scrutiny. Eala's every match will now be watched with microscopic intensity. Her losses will be analyzed more harshly, her wins celebrated more fervently. The weight of Nadal's words, whatever they truly meant, will follow her to every tournament, every practice, every press conference. How she handles this new reality will determine whether she becomes a cautionary tale of unfulfilled potential or the living embodiment of a champion's prophecy. The tennis world watches, waits, and wonders. Is Alex Eala ready for what comes next? The moment Rafael Nadal's revelation hit the internet, the tennis world fractured into factions. On one side stood those who embraced his words as gospel, viewing them as a definitive endorsement of Eala's eventual greatness. On the other were skeptics who questioned whether the legend's praise might be overblown or even counterproductive. In between, a vast middle ground of fans and analysts engaged in heated debates that showed no signs of cooling down anytime soon. Tennis legends themselves have weighed in with cautious optimism. Former Grand Slam champions, speaking anonymously to protect their relationships, have described Nadal's comments as uncharacteristically bold and potentially game-changing. Some have speculated that the Spanish star might be positioning himself to play a more direct role in Eala's development, a move that would send shockwaves through the entire coaching ecosystem. Others have warned that such public declarations can backfire, creating expectations that no young player could reasonably fulfill. Media coverage has reached fever pitch. Sports networks have dedicated entire segments to analyzing Nadal's facial expressions, tone, and word choice during the fateful press conference. Body language experts have been brought in to decode his subtle gestures. Psychologists have weighed in on the potential impact on Eala's mental state. In the digital realm, YouTube videos dissecting the revelation have garnered millions of views, while TikTok creators have produced countless parodies and reaction videos that range from reverent to irreverent. The divide is particularly stark between fans of traditional tennis and the newer generation of social media-savvy followers. Older fans express concern that such hype might distract Eala from her actual development, urging patience and perspective. Younger fans, by contrast, embrace the drama wholeheartedly, engaging in spirited debates about whether Eala could surpass the achievements of current stars like Swiatek, Gauff, or Sabalenka. Merchandise featuring Eala's name and face has appeared virtually overnight, and ticket sales for her upcoming tournaments have spiked dramatically. Whether this attention ultimately helps or hinders her career remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. Rafael Nadal's words have transformed Alex Eala's trajectory in ways no one could have predicted just weeks ago. As the dust begins to settle on Rafael Nadal's shocking revelation, the tennis world turns its attention to what comes next. Alex Eala now carries an invisible crown, one bestowed not by tournament victory, but by the words of a legend. How she chooses to wear that crown will define her career and potentially reshape the landscape of women's tennis for generations to come. The challenges ahead are formidable, but the opportunities are equally immense. Eala's immediate schedule is packed with tournaments that will test her mettle like never before. Every match will be scrutinized through the lens of Nadal's prophecy, with fans and critics alike looking for signs that his words were justified. The young Filipino star will face opponents who are now hyper-aware of her newfound status, players who will be determined to prove that Nadal's praise was premature or misplaced. The mental and emotional toll of this sudden spotlight cannot be underestimated, but those who know Eala best insist she has the resilience to handle it. There is also the tantalizing possibility of a direct interaction between Nadal and Eala in the coming months. Sources have hinted at potential exhibition matches, training sessions, or even public appearances that could solidify their connection. Such an event would be a media sensation, drawing viewers from around the world and cementing Eala's place in the global sports consciousness. Some have even speculated about a potential doubles partnership, a scenario that seems almost too perfect to be true but would undoubtedly break the internet all over again. Beyond the immediate drama lies the long-term question of Eala's legacy. Will she become the player Nadal seems to believe she can be? Will she win Grand Slams, top the world rankings, and inspire a new generation of Asian tennis players? Or will the weight of expectation prove too heavy, relegating her to the long list of talented players who never quite reached their potential? The answer lies in her hands, her racket, and her spirit. As millions of fans around the world hold their breath, one thing is certain. The tennis world will never look at Alex Eala the same way again. Rafael Nadal's revelation has changed everything, and the story is far from over. If you enjoyed this latest tennis update and want to stay ahead of the biggest stories in the world, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the World Zone right now. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment of the action. See you in the next video.